I didn't think I would get sick. But if I did, I'd be one of the, one of the ones that flew right through it, because I try to stay healthy. Ended up contracting COVID from my wife. She had very, very, mild light symptoms. Ended up hitting me like a freight train. Massive migraine, I would say, for probably 10 consecutive days. Of course, the bad cough, the body aches head to toe, very severe flu-like symptoms. At that point, you begin to get better, or you can go off and just take a dive into these secondary infections. And that's what happened with me. COVID-induced double pneumonia, and lungs began to fill up. Got to the point where I could take maybe, just guesstimating, 25% breath. It got to the point where I couldn't walk across the hotel room. From day 10 to day, I would say 15, day 16, that's where the pneumonia, and it comes on quick. In a matter of 48 hours, your life has changed. And so for about 5 to 6 days there, I was just getting worse and worse and worse. Got to the point where I didn't know if I would make it through the night. Ended up going to the ER in the town I was in. He said, we don't have anything to treat what you have. We can't treat your pneumonia. It's not bacterial. What we're doing at this hospital, if they need breathing assistance, then we start them, on that journey. Well, I've heard and read a lot of horror stories about where breathing assistance ends up, and was not interested in going down that path. And so I said, hey, I'll just chance it. Slowly walked back out to the parking lot where my wife was waiting in the car because she couldn't come in, and opened the door. She said, Paul, what are you doing here? You need to be in there. She began to bawl, and I get, broken up thinking about it, because here she is trying to take care of me, doing everything in her power to take care of me. Can't. So we finally go to the ER and we get a pain prescription. At this point, the crackling was so heavy in my lungs when I'm trying to breathe, you could hear, every breath, just because, the sacs were filling up with fluid. Went back to where we're staying. I'm propped up, you can't lay down because you can't breathe. I'm basically just stationary in a chair. You can't eat. I lost about 13 pounds through that process. And she begins to make phone calls. She's searching the internet, what can we do on our own? What's available? This girl calls and says, hey, my dad's a doctor in Dallas, and he's having a very high success rate with patients with COVID-19. It's not just him, it's a group of doctors. I was going down, and the night I talked to Dr. Gomez, that was my worst day. I wasn't getting better based on everything I hear. We need to get you on treatment right now. You don't need to wait until tomorrow. You need to do it right now. He said, I'm going to call Walgreens in your town. They're going to have your prescriptions ready in 10 minutes. HCQ, Z-Pak, budesonide with a nebulizer. He said, hey, start this tonight. I need you to be on that inhaler right now. Take this much of the HCQ right now. And a really heavy regimen, much more than someone would have that maybe it just begin, showing symptoms. Very heavy regimen. A little over a day is when I begin to feel better as far as my chest. Right at 24 hours. Now, I wasn't out of the woods by any stretch, but I was feeling better. I could take a little deeper breath. When I would cough, I wouldn't have that fear of, man, I'm never going to catch my breath. I'm going to die right here, because I could actually breathe. About 48 hours, life-changing at 48 hours. And by that third day, I knew I'm good. I'm pulling through. I don't know if it was the entire regimen, if it was one or two things in that regimen, but I know I trusted that physician who had success with other patients, and I believe it saved my life, and I'm here right now because of that. I don't think I'd be here otherwise.
This is a treatment regimen that's very simple, and it should be in the hands of the American people.
When I saw the video of the frontline doctors that came across Facebook, immediately I thought, wow, this is really cool. It's cool that doctors are out there providing hope.
I have personally treated over 350 patients with COVID. I put them on hydroxychloroquine, I put them on zinc, I put them on Zitromax, and they are all well.
And that was my first reaction, is maybe this is gonna begin to spread, really, catch some legs here, and more hospital systems, more doctors, maybe they're becoming aware, accepting it as a possible treatment. But it was so immediate, the pushback over, the next day, it was incredible, the pushback. And I began to see, people that had shared the video and getting censored. Something's going on here. If this just worked for me and saved my life, why is the pushback and the censor at this level? COVID-19 is real. Have whatever opinion you want. It almost killed someone that's very healthy. It's very real. And we can take a very real, very deadly virus and polarize it and manipulate it, politicize it, do all of these things. In doing so, miss out on the big picture that this is a human issue. And so my heart was, after this, was let's make sure we're humanizing this whole conversation. If there's a treatment, why are we using it? It makes no sense. To me, it makes no sense whatsoever. Make sure we're bringing the humanity back in the conversation. I'm just thankful to be here after going through what I went through.